If you own a private practice and your new patient flow sometimes feels a little random, sometimes you feel like, I'm not sure when the next new patient is going to show up, then this episode is probably going to be for you. I'm going to walk through a very simple lead generation framework along with some outbound marketing playbooks that you can use. It costs you $0 to help you actually gain confidence and control over your lead generation, hopefully helping you get to a place where you know how many new patients you're going to have on a month-by-month basis, knowing that I have enough new business coming into my practice to help me feel confident and in control of the direction of my business. So stick around. I'm giving it all away for free, and I hope it brings you tons of value. All right, guys, welcome to episode number 2. The name is going to be the Private Practice Scorecard, episode number 2. Why your new patients are random, and the 2 marketing metrics that fix it. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to give you guys some actionable takeaways that you can use to make a difference in your business today. That's the goal. Today. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get ready to take some notes, because if you are not happy with your marketing system or your marketing outcomes, this is for you. Whether you are starting a new practice, opening a new location, or maybe you've been in business for a while and you're like, I just need to create a new fire and intensity in the business. I need to generate more new patients. This is going to be for you. All right. Here's the high level issue. So forgive me if I talk a little bit over your head. I'm going to try to break this down as the most simple way, that not over your head, but forgive me if I talk to you and around things that are like, duh, like I totally understand that. I just don't want to assume that there's anything that you know that I miss. Okay. So picture this. All right. So we need new patients coming into the business, new leads being generated. That's going to be kind of like your top of funnel. That's going to be the opportunity generating mechanism. Once those new leads are converted to new patients, they enter into a plan of care. They're going to stay with you ideally for a certain duration. You're going to add value. You're going to give them what they need. You're going to get paid for your services. They're going to spend some time with you. Then they're going to discharge. They're going to exit your business, ideally only temporarily, but nevertheless, the potential revenue that you can generate from that specific patient is going to end for at least a period of time. And so you're discharging, or you're ending episodes of care. Now, the problem is, if you are discharging or losing patients faster than you are acquiring new ones, that is a problem, right? That is a perfect way to slowly go out of business, right? One way to eliminate that from ever happening, is to develop a very strong lead generation mechanism in your business. Very simple, strong, consistent, and transparent lead generation mechanism. Because if you create a surplus of leads, right? A surplus of leads, if you can create lots of awareness, lots of opportunity, then assuming that your conversions, your durations, your fulfillment, everything stays the same, your business will grow. That's the power of getting good at generating leads, and something that you're going to have to master if you want to be a business owner. Okay. You definitely want to learn this. All right. And so if we don't solve that problem, what ends up happening? Well, our schedules go empty, right? We have providers sitting around looking at each other, which is not good for anybody, not good for you. You got that like tightness in your chest. You're anxious. You're like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do about this, right? It's a very vulnerable feeling to know that your business is not performing the way that it should. You're not performing profitably because your schedules are empty. And also, you're also not sure exactly when the next new patient is going to come in, or you don't have a really strong plan on how to predict that or generate that. And so you are left with the hope and pray strategy, which is where a lot of us find ourselves. We hope and pray that another new patient will show up today. And so we hover over the fax machine, we hover over the front desk, hoping and praying. And that is not a really strong strategy as an owner, right? We want to flip that away. We don't want you to go out of business. We want you to be empowered. We want you to be confident. We want you to have a plan of attack. We want you to play offense with your business and not defense. Okay. And so if you can master this skill, then you can escape that position, that vulnerable position where you're like, I don't really know where my next new patient's going to come in. Okay. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. We're trying to eliminate that from the business, this very single focused problem. And we're not going to complicate this. It's not complicated. The 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the outcomes come from the 20% of your efforts, like top 20% of your efforts, right? So it's like master the basics. Master the basics. That is a freaking tagline. You don't have to be complicated. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on marketing every month. You have to spend a little, but you don't have to like make this more complicated than it really is. There's really only a few simple ways to do this, and I'm going to break them down. Okay. We're going to cover 2 core metrics that, well, it's really one metric, but we're going to break them down into kind of 2 subcategories, maybe even 3. All right. The core metric is going to be leads or referrals. Referrals being generated. Okay. One of the things that I alluded to in the first episode and that I just want to remind everyone of is marketing does not equal new patients. Marketing equals leads. Marketing equals referrals. Marketing gives you an opportunity to generate a new patient, but it doesn't guarantee a new patient. Okay. You still need some type of sales and conversion mechanism to help actually create that new patient opportunity. So this is not an episode to show you how to make new patients. This is an episode that shows you how to generate leads and give you opportunities to generate new patients. Okay. Leads, the number of leads that are coming into your business. Leads. What is a lead? Well, a lead is a person that could likely benefit from your service in some capacity, that you have general demographic and contact information that you can reach out to, right? So it's going to be name, phone number, email, right? That is a lead. That is a person who could benefit from your service and that you could contact them. Ideally, if they've shown some type of intent or interest in your service, even better. That's a warm lead, right? But the point is, marketing will help you generate leads. It will help you generate a list of people that you can reach out to and contact and sell your service to. Period. The more, the better, generally. Right? All right. And so we're going to break those leads into really 2 primary categories. Category number 1 is going to be your external leads, your external referrals. These are going to be new people from outside the business that are coming, that are finding you from an external source, right? These are going to be people that have found you through referrals. Maybe a physician send them over to you, or a colleague. Could be they found you on Google. Could be any number of reasons why they have found you somehow. Maybe their friend or family member told them about you, right? They have found you from some type of external source that's outside of your business. Okay, that's external leads. The second metric is going to be your internal leads or your internal referrals. These are going to be new opportunities that you generate from inside the business. Okay, so you have external and internal. External outside, internal inside, right? You with me? All right, let's keep going. All right. Those internal leads are going to really be broken down into really 2 subcategories, which are going to be your current patients that are currently active within receiving services, your current active planes of care. And then your second is going to be your past patient list, right? People who have discharged from your practice and who are no longer active, but are still warm because they've gotten a good result from you, right? They know, like, and trust you, right? And so for 99.99999% of businesses and private practices, those two metrics, those two sources are more than enough to build a really a robust practice. You can add more stuff later, but those are not enough to get you 60 to 70% of the way there easily. All right. And so those are the two metrics. The number of leads being generated per week, per month. All right. The number of leads being generated per week or per month. And so how do you measure leads? All right. Very simply, there's a lot of ways you can do this automatically. You can automate with some tools like a CRM, but we're not going to get fancy. We're going to use a handy dandy spreadsheet. Okay. So you want to create a spreadsheet. Ideally, I'd recommend some type of digital sheet. You can do this on a piece of paper. It can be on the back of a napkin, but I recommend a spreadsheet. Keeps things a little bit organized. That you could share it across people in multiple locations. The point is, use a spreadsheet, okay? And create a very simple referral log or a lead list log. All right. So if you can imagine, everybody kind of close your eyes, envision a spreadsheet. I use Google Sheets. At the top, you're going to title it. It's going to be called something like referral lead list or referral/lead list. Okay. You're going to name the columns. All right. Column A is going to be name. Column B is going to be source. And then column C can be type, internal versus external. And then maybe column D is going to be owner or initials, the person who actually received that referral. It can be your front desk, right? Somebody has to own that lead. All right. Name, source name, type, owner initials. All right. And so every new sales opportunity goes on the lead list. Okay. Policy one for you to make is policy A, right? Every new sales opportunity goes on the lead list. That means any referral that is sent over your way, any fax, any name that is given to you from a friend or family member or a current patient or a past patient, any potential opportunity goes on the lead list. Anybody. Okay. And so if you make that the central hub of your sale, it's the initial gateway to your pipeline, right? The number of leads that are being generated. And you make that a discipline, you make that a practice, all leads go there. All right. You can start running a very simple count, right? So you can look at how many total leads are on the lead list. You can count that, right? Number two, you can count specifically every week or every month. I like a weekly and a monthly cadence, right? Weekly marketing meeting. Guess what? Stat number one, how many total leads did we add to the lead list this week? Hey, welcome to the marketing meeting, right? We'll have a marketing meeting on Tuesday morning. First thing we're going to talk about is, all right, let's review our stats. How many total leads did we add to the lead list this week? Boom. Now you have a stat. You can just count them, right? You have the dates. Yeah. So maybe column A is date. Make sure you add the date, right? So it's date, name, source name, type, and owner. All right. Every week, how many total leads were added? Every month, how many total leads were added for the month, right? Also, you can start looking at things like how many of those leads were internal versus how many of those leads were external, right? Really cool. Very simple. You could probably, if you have a spreadsheet guru, you can just simply count them. Go to the week and count how many were internal, how many were external. But if you have a spreadsheet guru, you can create automations. All right. And you can start looking at what percentage of our leads per week and per month are coming from internal sources versus what percentage are coming from external sources. And so this sheet just becomes your marketing line on the scorecard, right? This is your hub, and you can start creating goals around that. You can start creating expectations around that. You can start inputting effort, energy, and leverage into a marketing framework that will drive those numbers and those metrics in a more favorable direction. And so you can't manage what you don't measure. And it's literally that simple. Spreadsheet, everything goes on the lead list, mark them internal versus external. All right. Then you can kind of break it out from there. So if that's enough for you right now, I want you to pause that, go do that homework, and then come back. All right. So make this spreadsheet. Don't be the person that's like, oh, Adam talked about making that spreadsheet that one time when I watched that YouTube video 2 years ago, and I never did anything about it. But I can't figure out how to get more new patients in the door. Okay, you're skipping the steps, right? In order to create the outcome, you actually have to do the thing. This is the boring, repetitive, tedious work that nobody wants to do. It's not urgent. You kind of have to do it on the weekends or at nights or like some type of dedicated time outside of your normal routine. You got to commit to this. So make the spreadsheet, all right? And so you can start creating goals, right? So I'm going to give you some simple math for you to think about. So let's just say as an example, let's say you have a practice. It's either maybe it's a one location practice or maybe it's a satellite location. And let's say right now on average, you're seeing about 30 new patients a month. Okay. You're seeing about 30 new patients a month. Right. Let's say you have a documented history of all the leads that are coming in month over month, right? 30 new patients a month. Well, let's say month over month, I'm getting about 40 new leads added to the lead list every month. So that means for every 40 leads that come in, I'm converting 30 of them into new patients. So I have a 75% conversion rate. Let's don't get too caught up on what conversion rate is right now. That's for another episode. I'm just trying to give you a high level overview. Okay. You're converting 75% of your leads into new patients. Okay. 40 leads coming in, 30 of them land on the schedule and show up. That's a 75% conversion rate. But you want to hire a new PT. You want to make more money. You want to create more impact. And you want 50 new patients a month. You're at 30, but you want 50. I need to get to 50. How do I get to 50? Well, great goal. Let's mark that down on our goal list for our annual goal or our quarterly goal. And let's actually do what we need to do to make that come to life. Let's make that the priority. All right. Let's just assume that we're not going to mess with the conversion rate. Our conversion rate is going to stay around 75%. The only other mechanism or parameter that we can influence is the number or volume of leads coming into the business. Okay. So let's say we want 50 new patients. If we divide that by 75% or 0.75, because we have a 75% conversion rate, that means we would need 67 leads per month in order to hit our 50 new patient goal. Okay. Pause that. Make sure you watch it again if you're confused on the math. All right. So we need 67 leads a month. No longer do we need 40 leads. We need 67 leads. So we need more leads. Guess how we get more leads? We market more, right? We market more. If we market more, we get more leads, period. That's it. That's how it works. All right. Well, how many leads a week do we need? Great question. We take 67, we divide it by 4.333, and we get 16 leads a week. We need 16 referrals or leads every week consistently over long periods of time in order to hit that 50 new patient month. Okay, so now your scorecard and your meeting, your weekly marketing meeting actually has a target. 16 leads per week. That's our target. That is the number that is on the agenda, that is circled, it's highlighted, it's red. It's the number we reference every week. And it's not hope anymore. It is the thing that we are pursuing, right? So think about that. It's the thing that we're pursuing with clarity. Okay, so no longer are you the owner that is sitting in the corner. I'm talking to myself because I've been here before, right? How many times have we found ourselves like on a weekend or late at night? It's like we're sitting down at a desk and we're like completely exhausted. We've been working all week, right? We feel like we have nothing left to give, you know? And we feel hopeless sometimes. We feel like, I don't know what else to do. I just know tomorrow I've got to see 15 more patients. And, you know, I'm struggling because I don't know when my next new patient's going to come in. I'm scared. I'm worried. I feel stuck. I feel like I'm trapped. You're in the hope and pray mode. You're starting at this point, you're starting to become the designer of your life. You're starting to become the designer of your business. I need 16 leads a week. Perfect. Let's go do it. Right? Let's go do it. So like, get up, dust your feet off, drink a cup of coffee. Let's go freaking do it. All right. So let's talk about how we're going to do it. Now, I want to preface this by that I am not a marketing guru. I know a little bit about marketing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ignorant, but I'm not going to be the person that sits around and says that I know everything that there is to know about marketing, because I don't. I'm pretty good at sales. So I don't want I'm going to teach you the basics. I'm going to teach you what's worked for us. This has worked for us. We have real objective change in our practice. I'm going to tell you what's worked for our clients. And I'm going to tell you it's very affordable and cheap. Like, you don't have to spend a bunch of money to do this. Now, this is going to be the core foundational elements of how to drive leads into your business, whether it's a private practice or any type of business. All right. Now, for more advanced techniques, for more advanced marketing strategies, you're going to have to find a different person. All right. My experience has been that most of that stuff confuses us and overwhelms us and forces you to want to skip the foundational basics to try to reach for some complicated thing that really doesn't help you, but it's just going to cost you a lot of money. Okay. So my strong recommendation is, just like you would tell your patients, let's get the basics right first. And you will get 80% of your efforts will come from the basics, mastering the fundamentals, the simple, repeatable, boring basics of marketing. If you do that and you become really exceptional at that, first of all, you're going to save a bunch of money and you're going to get a ton of results. Once the basics are there and you're killing it, you've got good cash flow and you're looking for ways to expand and scale, and you're looking for like that next level of growth, then you can kind of seek out a real like marketing guru who can help you build funnels and stuff like that. But please don't do that too quickly. All right. So the first thing that you're going to do is probably something that you guys already have, but it's going to piggyback off of the rant that I just went on, which is we're going to make sure that we have a very simple base level digital footprint. Okay. You have to have a digital footprint. It's 2026 at the time of this video, and the world is moving online. All right. You have to have a digital footprint. So don't build your website yourself. Bad mistake. Don't think that you have to spend $20,000 on a digital presence and funnels and gizmos and gadgets. Okay. The answer is probably somewhere in the middle. All right. We're going to build a digital storefront that helps you build trust and authority. That's it. It's not going to be some type of conversion mechanism or lead generation engine that's going to drive revenue to the business. You can do that, but for the basics, that's not what this is for. Okay. So the purpose of this digital footprint is going to be to give you credibility, to be a credibility check for leads who are interested in your service. Okay. Not the main lead driver. And so your basic assets for this is going to be, number one, you're going to have to hire a very easy, simple, affordable digital marketing agency to help you build this out. It doesn't have to break the bank. Okay. If somebody's trying to charge you $5,000 a month to build digital marketing assets, they're robbing you. With AI and technology these days, you don't need it. All you have to do is compete locally. You're not trying to compete nationwide, so don't overcomplicate this. If you need help finding a digital marketing agency, reach out to me. We don't do that type of work personally, but I've got tons of people in my network who do, and I can put you in touch with people that I trust and who I know will do a good job for you, okay? But the basic assets are going to be a simple 3 to 5 page website, okay? Basic 3 to 5 page website that's going to cover who you help, what you do, the outcomes that you receive, the services, and a simple call to action. Hey, book a call here if you're interested. All right. That's it. It's going to be branded, probably follow some type of story brand or light, kind of have some light sales copy that will build trust and some type of emotional connection with people who are looking at your website. It's simple. It's easy to follow. It's not very complicated. Building a reliable website is key. Number 2, a Google My Business profile, making sure that you're on Google My Business and that you are showing up on Google Maps and are contributing to the Google My Business page. You're posting there regularly, and you have a mechanism for collecting Google reviews from your customers. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3 is a very basic Facebook page with light organic posting. Okay. Very basic Facebook page with light organic posting. All right. So how does this work? Right. So the whole point of this is for when people hear about you, or when somebody recommends your place as a place of service, the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to go to Google and look for you. And you just want to have a very simple confirmation that you are who you are and that you can be trusted and that you are worth consideration, and have a light call to action to try to convert to a call. All right. If you do that well, and you can check the digital marketing off the list. Okay. Ideally, also, one thing that I did mention, if you can do some light SEO work, right? Light SEO work, meaning like usually that comes in the form of a light blog post that is posted to your website, potentially your Google My Business page as well, that is SEO friendly, that will help you rank on search engines. So you're easy to find, not just that you can be found, but you're easy to find, right? So just going to review those one more time. Simple 3 to 5 page website with a Google My Business page, a basic Facebook page, and light organic posting with some light SEO work. Ideally a blog that is SEO friendly. Okay. So once you have that set up, you have a business, you have a digital storefront. Now you are ready to start marketing. All right. And so we're going to talk about my favorite form of marketing, which is really, I don't even know if it's marketing. It's more of a sales mechanism, but relationship marketing. Okay. The goal of relationship marketing is to build relationships, to build referral partners. Okay. You're going to build relationships with people who have the ability, have influence in the community, and have influence over the types of patients that you want to treat. All right. They can make recommendations and referrals on your behalf. Okay. And so the goal of relationship marketing is to become the person that people recommend. All right. I'm going to say that one more time. The goal of relationship marketing is to become the person that people recommend, right? And so think about it. Let's say you were looking for a landscaping crew. Let's say you need somebody to cut your grass and do your garden. Okay. Likely what's going to happen for most people is they're going to call friends, family members, relatives, colleagues, and they're going to ask, hey, who do you guys use for your landscaping? Who do you recommend? They're going to seek out a recommendation or a referral. That is a lot of what they're either going to do that in person or they're going to do that digitally, one or the other. Usually they're going to go with somebody they know, like, and trust already. Okay. And then that person who's going to also be one of your referral partners, which we'll get into, is going to say, I know that guy, Adam, over at Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. You should check him out. I've heard some really good things about him. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to Google and you're going to Google that business. And guess what they're going to find? Very simple Google page with a blog post. It's active, light SEO. And they're going to click on your website. They're going to see a lightly branded with a subtle call to action. And they're going to tell themselves, yeah, this checks out. This person actually does have credibility. This is worthy of consideration. I'm going to give them a call. That's the funnel. That's the whole funnel. So your website is your conversion mechanism, but it only comes after you build trust through the referral or through the recommendation. Okay. So you have to focus on building referral partnerships, people who have influence over the types of patients you want to treat. So if you're somebody who wants to treat athletes, that's going to mean, think of all the people who would want to treat athletes. It's going to be coaches, running coaches, swim coaches, high school football coaches, athletic trainers, the community event that puts on the sprint triathlon, right? These are all people who have influence over the CrossFit gyms, right? And so these are the people that we want to build partners with. Those are the types of people that we want to build relationships with. All right. And so step one is to first define the types of people that you want to build relationships with, which we've already kind of covered that. Step two is to build the list. Okay. So everything starts with a list, because the goal, we have to get into action and start some type of outbound process with these people, right? But the prerequisite to that action is to define who it is and what's their information, right? We can't do anything without that. So we have to start with a list. And so we want to build another list, which is going to be our referral partner list. I recommend at least a minimum of 100 community influencers, ideally closer to 300. Okay, so this is going to be MDs, surgeons, chiros, trainers, gyms, shoe store people, schools, etc. Okay, so you want to build your list. So it's another spreadsheet. Imagine it's going to be kind of like your CRM spreadsheet. It's going to have name of the person, their demographic information, so their phone number, their email, their place of work, the name of their business, their fax machine, their social media handles. Maybe you can put their social media URLs on there. You'd want to put on there the type of referral partner they are, and then maybe put on there the date, the last time you connected with them, and maybe some notes. Hey, here's the last time I connected with them. Here's what happened. Okay, so this is kind of like your CRM, your client relationship management tool, which is just simply a spreadsheet that you're going to build out. A list of 300 of them. Okay. The next step is to build your multi-channel outreach process. You're going to build an outreach or an outbound process. Simple. I'm going to reach out to these people. And the more that I reach out, the more likely I am to receive a referral. Okay. And so we're going to reach out to them in as many channels that we possibly have. We're going to reach out to them in person. So we'll show up in person. We can use snail mail. We can use phone, email, fax, text, social media, DMs. And what you would want to do is through this consistent effort of reaching out to them, you're going to find the communication channel that they prefer, right? You're going to get more responses and via text, or this affiliate might like in person, or this affiliate might like email, right? And once you diagnose what the preferred channel of communication is, you will leverage that channel more heavily for that referral partner because that's the one they prefer, right? So now you have defined who these people are. You've built a list. You've planned out a multi-channel outreach process. And now you got to figure out, what are you going to say? What am I going to say to these people? I'm going to show up and be like, hi, my name's Adam. Send me a referral. Probably a bad idea. I mean, you could try that, and it's okay if you do that, because you have to be a little cringe in the beginning because you're learning. But eventually, as you become better at this and more comfortable with this, you will find your voice and you will show up a little bit more powerfully. Okay. But here's a simple framework that you can use to give you the words, or it can kind of give you a direction on how these conversations can go. Okay. The first thing that you have to know is you have to clarify your offer for your company, clarify your offer and the unique value that you contribute for your company. Okay. And specifically, ideally trying to help your referral partners understand why they should consider it. Why is it valuable to them? Right? So we're positioning our company and our resources, our time, our money, our energy, our brand authority, our access to patients, the way that we deliver care, the relationships that we have, and we are going to position some value offer for these referral partners. All right. And by the way, I don't know if it's going to be in the show notes. You can check out the show notes. If not, you can reach out to me directly. I have a custom GPT tool that I built that will help you build this offer, help you build this Grand Slam offer, help you build the language that you need to describe it, and will help you with some introductory outreach messaging templates that you can use via text, email, and in person. If you want that, you can shoot me an email, find me on social, or you might be able to check out the show notes. It may be there as well. Use that GPT tool. It's really, really valuable. Okay, so once you clarify your offer and you kind of you uncover your identity, it's like, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. These are the values and this is the language that we use to describe our values and our culture. This is how we like to show up in our own unique way in the community. And here's the unique value proposition that we're trying to bring to the marketplace. That's important for you to have clarity around, confidence around, conviction around, so that you can show up with presence and identity. Okay. The next thing is, when you show up, you're going to show up interested, not interesting. Okay. So don't show up like this. Hi, my name's Adam. I'm really cool, and I want you to give me a referral, right? That is you trying to be interesting. You're trying to look cool. You're trying to look like a cool guy, right? And that puts a lot of pressure on you. You don't need that type of pressure. Your job isn't to look cool. Your job isn't to be cool or unique or anything other than yourself. But what your job is to do is to add value. And in order to add value, you have to uncover what's important to them. What's important to them. And you do that through asking questions. And so if you can show up to these outreach attempts, whether in person, phone call, email, fax, and be interested in learning about the people that you're reaching out to. So it's more like, hi, my name's Adam. I'm here. This is what I do. And I'm here to learn more about you guys. I'm curious, what types of patients do you treat? How long have you guys been in business? What kind of problems are you trying to solve? What kind of help? How can we offer help? We'd love to help you guys. You're asking more questions to uncover the problems that they have in their team and in their business. And what that will do is, through a series of questions, it will help you define how you can potentially add value to them. Well, by the way, Adam, it's funny that you say that. We actually do XYZ. It could potentially be a resource for that. Would you be open to having a conversation around that? I now know that because I've uncovered clarity. I've uncovered the questioning. And so seek out understanding of them instead of helping you be understood. Right. So it's very, very important. All right. So show up interested versus interesting. Ask what problems they're trying to solve. Number 3, deliver real value. Like whatever, like every clinic is going to be a little bit different. There's been times where I built a relationship with somebody and they were like, oh, I got to drop this off at the post office. No problem. Give it to me. I'll drop it off on my way out. I'm adding real value. I'm adding real contribution. That's one way, right? But the point is, be useful, right? Be useful for that referral partner. You want them to say something like, it's not that bad having them around. They're actually useful because they add value for me. Refer them patients. Hey, we'd love to help you grow this kind of caseload. Oh, you guys hired a new provider. How can we help you guys fill that caseload? What kind of patients are you looking to treat? Well, we'd love to help you. Add value. Oh, hey, CrossFit Gym. Yeah, you're looking to add more resources. We can partner, do a workshop. How about we come in and we can just educate your community on how to XYZ overcome back pain. That's real value. And you're going to do it for free. Okay. Seek ways to add value. You're going to deposit value into that relationship. So help their patients, send them resources, and help them create momentum in their business. Once you do that and you create the value for them, that's when you can have a bold, clarifying ask. You can make a withdrawal. This might be on the second or third follow-up, which is something like, hey, we've been hanging out for a while. Really love to get to know you guys. I'm curious, what would a great referral relationship look like for you guys? We'd love an opportunity to develop a real referral partnership with you. What would that look like for you guys, and how can we be a part of that? You're going to ask the question. You can't get what you don't ask for. So I'm going to break that down one more time. It's kind of a 4-step process. Clarify your offer, have the language, show up boldly. Use the GP2 tool to help you with that. Number 2, show up interested and not interesting. Ask clarifying questions to understand what's important to them. Number 3, deliver real value first. Give them something for free. Show that you're committed to adding value. Number 4, end with a bold ask for what you want. Listen, I want to build a referral partnership here, and I feel like this is a great fit. How can we do that together? Okay. That is the framework. That is what you say, right? That is what you say. So you reach out to these people and you walk them through that 4-part framework. Okay. All right. And so lastly, how do we create impact, right? How do we actually create impact? Here's the thing. The answer is always more. Just think, the recipe for success here is more. The more you do, the more impact you'll make. That's it. The more marketing you do, the more likely you're going to get a referral. The more outreach you do, the more likely you're going to get a referral partnership. The answer is usually always more, as long as it's done in an authentic and then transparent way. Okay. So the answer to this is volume plus consistency. That's the recipe. Volume plus consistency. So the reason why this doesn't work for people, by the way, this isn't just unique for private practice. This is for private practice. This could be for any other business. It could be an online business. You were not going to grow a business if you don't have some type of outreach cadence in your business, period. It's just not going to happen. You can't sit behind a desk and ask somebody to spend money on ads and just sit there and wait for people to show up. That's not the way business works, unfortunately. It's a lot harder than that. This is the hard work. So you're going to have to put your boots on. I'm looking at you. And you're going to have to go to work. Okay. You're going to get over yourself. You're going to have to be a little bit cringe in the beginning, and you're going to have to be disciplined to the level of volume and consistency that is required to actually create change. And usually it's way more volume than you think, and it's way longer than you think, just like most things in life. Okay. So Alex Hormozi is somebody that I admire in a lot of ways. He's famous for saying you should complete 100 outreaches a day for 100 days straight, which is a big amount of volume to kind of wrap your head around. That may be a little aggressive for a small local physical therapy clinic or healthcare practice, and that's okay. But the point is, you want to pick a number of outreach attempts a day, pick a number, and do it for at least 100 days. My recommendation is to start with about 10 to 20. Start with 10 to 20 a day, and your commitment to yourself and whoever's going to be helping you with this, whether it's your front desk or your virtual assistant or whatever, you are going to log 10 to 20 outreach attempts every day. You're not going to miss a day, no matter what. You're not going to clock out or go home until your outreach attempts are completed. You're going to either call somebody, you're going to DM them, you're going to drop by, you're going to send a fax, you're going to email them, and you're going to work that relationship down your process to building a referral partnership and moving that relationship forward into an actual deeper and more stable referral partnership. You got to do that every single day, 5 days a week, around the clock. Okay. Then as you build capacity and you actually start getting good, you can start ramping up volume. You can go from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, and you can start building in automation. There's a lot of things you can do, but you can start with just 10 to 20 a day. Most people fail because they're not doing enough and they're not doing it long enough. Okay. So what are some of the things that you can do? Number one, you need to block your outreach time daily or at a regular cadence. Okay. So on the calendar, if I go to your calendar, you should see on the patient schedule and on your personal calendar, dedicated blocks of time where I am personally going to facilitate outreach attempts to my referral partner list. It's a priority. Nothing comes in front of it during those blocks of time unless it's an emergency. Okay, so what gets scheduled gets done. If you try to do this in between patients whenever you have time, you're never going to get it done. You have to make it a priority. You have to force yourself to let go of the urgent things and focus on the boring, repetitive work to hit your targets. Okay, so you have to block your time. You can either do it daily or you can do like 2 chunks of time in the week or something like that. Number 2, log each outreach attempt on your spreadsheet. Number of outreach attempts equals leads, right? More outreach attempts, more leads, period. All right. So you want to log it. You can give your team access to this and they can help you with the outreach. So it can be your front desk can help you, can be other clinicians. Maybe you assign them like, hey, everybody's going to get 5 a week. I'll do 20 a week. Front desk does 5 a week. We might hit 50 a week or 60 a week or something like that. But you have to log the outreach attempt on the sheet. And so during the marketing meeting, you're going to look at the number of leads that are coming in. You're also going to look at the number of outreach attempts that were hit every week. And there needs to be a minimum expectation. If it's below, we're failing. If it's above, we're winning. All right. And like I said, aim to 10 to 20 quality touches per day when growth is your constraint. Okay, if growth is your constraint, if new patients is your constraint, you must prioritize your outreaches every day and always follow up more than what feels comfortable. Okay, so a lot of times we get people, they'll reach out to a referral partner and they'll say, oh, I reached out to them last week. Well, you have to reach out to them again. You have to reach out to them again. You have to follow up. People get busy, right? And so you have to follow up routinely, follow up regularly, right? And so that's your workflow, okay? You're going to add a new lead to the list or add a new affiliate partner to the list. You're gonna reach out to them and follow up with them until you are able to work them through that framework of explaining your offer, adding value, showing interest, and then creating a real referral partnership. And then you're gonna nurture them with a 30, 60, or 90-day follow-up routine. All right. So on your CRM, you're going to set a reminder that usually a pure nurture is around every 90 days. You're going to create an intentional touch point with that person where you're going to make real contact via email, phone call, in person, at least every 90 days after the referral partnership is established. Prior to that referral partnership, you got to follow up a bunch until you get in front of them. Okay. So that is external leads. If we do that with enough people, with enough volume, and with enough consistency, and we have the discipline to block the time, create a meeting rhythm where we're tracking those inputs regularly for enough time, you will create meaningful external change, external referral and lead change in your business. I promise you. It's going to take 90 to 100 days to make a change, but you have to start today. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the internal leads. This is going to be also really important. Okay. Also really, really important. So no matter what business that you have, most of the audience is private practices. It's important that we have some form of scheduled quality assurance touch point during the life cycle of your customer. Okay. So I usually recommend after your customer meets some type of qualifying timeline. So it could be after the 30-day onboarding process, or it could be after the 2-week process, or whatever that process, that timeline is that states, usually that represents this person has been with us long enough to have an initial onboarding process, implement parts of what we're doing, and ideally experience some meaningful improvement in their life. At that point, that is where we want to come in and create a quality assurance touch point. I like to do the first progress note. Now, I know that's going to differ between what type of healthcare practice you have. I'm a physical therapist. Usually that's going to be around the 3-week mark. Okay. Right around the middle of their 3rd week, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have that patient fill out a very short questionnaire, 3 to 5 questions. That's going to have some type of net promoter score, and ask them what benefits they're experiencing. And then more importantly, ask them, who do they know that would benefit from the type of services that we offer? So we're going to solicit a referral from our patients. Ideally, only patients that have actually had good experiences with us, right? You're not going to do a 100%. If you can get like a 90 to 90%, 95% success rate with your patients, you're crushing it. And so of those 90%, if they're experiencing results, if they say, hey, Adam, I've been coming here for 3 weeks. I'm really happy. I've had meaningful progress. I'm not there yet, but I know that I'm on the way. I'm happy with the decision that I made. At that point is a great opportunity for you to say, well, by the way, we'd love to do more of this with other people. Would you be willing to help us? Right. And so you're going to have them fill out that form. You're going to sit with them for about 10 minutes. It doesn't have to take long. And you're going to have a little script that you follow. That's basically going to say something like, hey, Adam, I noticed that you were having great results. By the way, that warms my heart more than anything. I'm very happy with that. What were the main reasons why you gave us a 10 out of 10? I'm just curious. What were some of the most compelling reasons that gave you to give us a 10 out of 10? And they're going to tell you why your company is so great. Then you're going to say, well, listen, one of the things that we do here is we're trying to make the biggest impact that we can, and we could use your help if you'd be willing to help. Who do you know? Because we all know people who have ailments or pain or something that's impacting their life. I'm curious, who do you know in your family or friends that could potentially maybe benefit from this type of service? And they're going to give you a name. They're usually going to say their mom, their dad, their grandma, their cousin. Everybody has back pain or headaches or some type of ailment that they want to complain about. Everyone does. But guess what they're going to give you? A name. And guess what that is? A lead. Right? It's a lead. Okay. And so you're going to say, okay, great. Listen, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but ideally we'd love to help if we can. We're not sure if we can. We can't help everyone, but usually the next steps are just to do a quick screen. That could be either on the phone or quick screen in person, just to see if we could help. Would that help if we did that? What's the best way to get in touch with blank's name? And usually they're going to say something like, I'm going to follow up with them next week, or I'll call them after my appointment, or yada, yada, yada. Right. They're going to say, you can say, great, I'm going to go ahead and mark you down. And then I'll follow up with you on your next appointment and see kind of how that went. Okay, great. And guess where that name goes? That name goes on the lead list. Remember the lead list in the beginning. So it's going to be a name. We may or may not have a phone number and email yet, but we have a name. We know the source where they came from. Current patient, Mrs. Smith, right? And we have the date, and We have some type of follow-up cadence that we're going to implement to ensure that we follow up with that person and get that demographic information so that we can put them on the schedule. That is going to be covered in the conversion episode right now. But the point is, you just generated a lead. Okay. Converting them to a new patient is a separate episode. All right. And so at that point, your conversion sales process, which is usually your front desk, will reach out to that current patient either through their appointments or over the phone to work that person back on the schedule. Okay, so that's it. That's your process. That's the whole internal current patient process. Nothing more complicated than that. Right? And so you can imagine a spreadsheet where all the new patients that are coming to your business come in. So it could be date, it could be name of new patient. Start putting them on the spreadsheet. Then it'll be that patient's name, phone number, email, and when their quality assurance checkpoint is due. Right? When is it due? You'll put a date on it. Who is going to do it? What clinician is going to do it? That clinician owns it. And then the next one is what is the name and or relationship that was provided from that quality assurance? You'll put that in there, right? And then it'll be like quality assurance completed, yes, no. That way you have a process that you will review every week during your marketing meeting to ensure that all quality assurance are getting completed and leads are being generated and you actually are adding them to the list. The follow-up process is a different episode. Okay. And so that is a system, that is a process. And if you just build out, you have to build a spreadsheet, you have to build the meeting agenda, and you have to just build a checklist on how to execute that. And then you just follow the routine. All right. And so in this example, if you had 30 new patients that came in for the month, and let's say a third of them gave you names, that's 10 new leads a month. And if you have a decent follow-up process and a 75% conversion rate, that'll be 7 new evals a month just from that, right? So very simple, costs you zero money, and you can just throw that into the workflow. Last bucket, we're going to talk about our past patient list. Really, really important because you have a bunch of warm leads in your CRM called your past patients. These are people who already know you, already like you, already trust you, might have already sent you a referral, have gotten great results, maybe even left you a Google review, right? Or a positive testimonial. But you want to build a past patient list that continues to evolve. A past patient list that continues to evolve. Ideally a spreadsheet or some type of CRM. Start with a spreadsheet is my recommendation. All right. Name, contact information, the last visit the date of the last visit, the condition that they were being treated for, the last outreach attempt, and the date. That's kind of the columns in that spreadsheet. And so your rule in your company is that every past patient gets some type of touch point from your company every 90 days. So every 90 days this is another outbound funnel, another outbound or outreach funnel. You're going to leverage phone, email, and text. You can do that manually. It doesn't have to be automated. Do it manually. And calling is the gold standard, right? So every 90 days, you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to say, hey, Mrs. Smith, it's Adam over at Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. How are you? Listen, we're just doing we're following up with all of our past patients. It's been 90 days. I was looking at your log. It looks like you were being treated for your knee last time you were here. I'm just checking in. How are things going? How are things going with the knee? Oh, things are going well. Here's the line that you ask. It's going to be something like, at that point, what you're doing is you're asking questions to uncover if there is a problem. A lot of people aren't aware of their problems all the time. You have to kind of ask probing questions. You're not trying to manipulate or trick, but you're trying to uncover and kind of go into depth to ensure that everything is where it needs to be. And you say something like, okay, the knee's doing good. I'm just curious, but just for clarity, do you feel like it's 100% where it needs to be, or do you feel like there's something maybe a little off? Oh, it's 100%. Great. By the way, we treat necks, backs. How are all the other body parts doing? Oh, your neck's hurting. Tell me more about that. Really, how long has that been going on? And how's that impacted you? Right. And so now I've uncovered the pain, I've uncovered the problem. Ask clarifying questions around the problem, and then you convert, which is going to be something like, okay, great. Mrs. Smith, based on what I'm hearing, I feel like really the best next step is just to get you in for a quick screen. I'm not sure if we could help, but we may be able to help with that. But worst thing that can happen is you come in, we do a quick screen, and if we can help, we kind of show you what a plan of care might look like. If we can't, we'll just give you a home exercise program and you can manage it on your own, or we can help refer you out to somebody that can get you the help that you need. Would that help you if we did that? Great. How about next Wednesday at 2:00? Schedule the screen. Okay. Now, that scripting process is going to be in the conversion section next episode. The point is, you have the spreadsheet, you're logging the outbound attempts, and you're reaching out every 90 days. All right. This is a warm lead campaign, not some random check-ins. This is something that is sequential, and it's got a very designed cadence. Okay. All right. So wrapping this up, your marketing scorecard, you might have a few different tabs. You have your weekly total leads that are being generated, weekly and monthly, right? You have split those leads into internal versus external. You may be tracking the number and the percentages of each, both weekly and monthly. And you're looking at the total number of weekly outbound attempts that you and your team are making to generating referral partnerships, past patient outreach attempts, and potentially the number of quality assurance leads that you're making as well. Okay. You're tracking that on your spreadsheet every week during your marketing meeting. If you do this, very likely you're going to outperform so many people in the industry. And all you have to do is spend like 30 to 90 days obsessing over this, build out the workflows, build out the cadences, and you will make a meaningful difference. I promise you. All you have to do is commit to the behaviors, be willing to look a little cringe, be willing to mess it up a little bit, and then through the repetition and consistency you'll actually start getting good at this and making a difference. Okay. Guys, if this was helpful, then give me a subscribe. Or check out, you can check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching, you check out the podcast. There's a few ways that we can get involved. You can check out the Private Practice Owners Club. We help with coaching, system building, strategic planning. We do a lot of stuff with coaching, help you really clarify your finances. You can also check out Inbox Zero VA. We help you build out automated workflows and processes so that you and your team can focus on the revenue drivers in the business. This is one of them. At a later time, we'll talk about what it looks like to hire a VA to actually leverage them to help you with these things. All right. So either way, don't make the mistake that most people do, which is they watch this video while they're kind of halfway falling asleep. They take no notes and they do nothing about it. Don't do that. This is an action video. I want you to save this, make notes, and actually commit to implementing this process. If you need help, reach out to me and my team. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on TikTok. You can check out the Facebook page, Private Practice Owners Club. We are available. We want to help you win. Come to the Facebook page, ask your questions, and me and my team will help you implement this well. My name's Adam, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.